got the auto worker strike. All right. So how does this affect us here locally? You know, it's funny because, Chad, you said, you texted me, you go, that's the biggest story of the day.
No, it is.
Why is it the biggest story of the day?
Potentially what it could do to the economy. You're taking a 10-day strike, $5 billion out of the economy. So in an already crunched market when it comes to automobiles prices are through the roof, you have a situation now where they say they're prepared to go to the mat. And by the way they're doing this is very strategic. They're not bringing all 147,000 auto workers or whatever it is out on strike. They're doing it in a rolling strike. So this plant may be closed today for a week. And tomorrow, the plant across the street will be closed. This plant will stay reopened. They're going to do it very strategically, and that's going to cause potentially the cost of auto to go up. And at a time when autos, much like housing and stuff, is already ridiculously expensive, but people are purchasing cars, that could potentially hurt the economy, but it also could make them stop raising interest rates.
Okay, so how many people actually walked off the job?
13,000.
It's a lot of people.
All three, by the way, big automakers. You had Stellantis, which is like Chrysler,
Ford.
You had GM and Ford.
Right. Okay, so, you know, when we look at this, you know, I think you're right, Chad. You get 13,000 people that walk off the job. All right, how is it going to affect the economy? You kind of explained that. How about locally? How does it affect us here in Arizona? Well, it impacts business.
It's not just the companies and businesses that deal directly to the automakers. Even the businesses and companies that send supplies to those companies that then send supplies to those automakers will also potentially see an impact during this strike.
Yeah, because if you make something and that goes on a Ford, there's no need for that thing at this point in time. And so it stops down production. It's like one of those domino effects down the road, and you don't see that things are slowing down. And if you've got contracts with all of these things and you make stuff here, we've got plenty of stuff here, whether it's a small chip or a wire, that's going to hurt your business.
Okay, so let's take it even a little bit further. If you are listening to this right now, you're the everyday Arizonan just like us, give me an example of how it's going to affect me, like a really specific example.
Well, for you, the chance of a slowdown. Psyche of the mind. Fourth quarter,
slow down in the economy.
Slow down in the economy.
You start worrying a little bit about your job.
Lowering of the GDP and the growth. The start of potentially something that is going to have a quicker push to maybe a recession or something else. That's for the average person. Now, if you're going to go buy a car, you already know.
This is what I want to know.
Their cars are through the roof as far as new cars, if you can get them. Right, and that's a big if, because I talk to car manufacturers all the time, and people who run, my friends over at Liberty, they'll tell you sometimes it's hard to get new vehicles. Used vehicle prices now are potentially going to go through the roof. So if you're looking at used, you could see them fly through the roof.
They are already high.
Yeah. I mean,
and hard to get.
How many of us have heard a story of somebody who goes, yeah, I got a used car. I bought it for $25,000 3 years ago. I've driven it for 35,000 miles, and I sold it for 35,000. We've all heard of cars just because nobody can get them.
Here's an ASU professor. His title is ASU Logistics and Supply Instructor.
That guy's fun.
Okay. Dale Rogers.
The minute there's a hiccup with stuff that they're shipping, they cancel all their orders. They did that with semiconductors, and it really cost them a lot.
Yeah, he's fun. And but it goes back to the supply chain. We saw what COVID did. This is our supply chain breaking down right here on ourselves.
Because the supply chain during COVID was just a disaster.
And we're still trying to recover from it. There's still no chips for cars. That's why it's taking a long time.
Remember there were shipping containers like in California on side streets?
Yeah. They were dumping them. Remember, they had nowhere to go. Yeah.
They had nowhere to go. So what could this be like then? Like, all right, so we have our semiconductor plant that's being built in Arizona. This is going to take a back seat now? Are we going to have delays?
No, they're still working on that, but I think what you're going to find is we've got a lot of manufacturers here who are building things or components for cars that are probably going to have their orders canceled, which is then going to impact the economy here. And it shows you the power of just what one little, cog in the wheel can do and how it can upend stuff.
So I was looking at the other day, Google is firing a lot of people.
Yeah.
We still have the tech industry, they probably hired too many people and they're still trying to weed out some. So I saw that.
And
that's
AI
not good.
is taking over for a lot of things in tech, man.
AI is gonna take over jobs. I don't know how quick it's going to happen, but AI is going to take over certain jobs. There's no doubt about it. One of the other parts of this story, so if you're just joining us, auto industry, we've got a strike, the UAW strike. Joe Biden has come out and said, listen, you guys are making record profits. Share it. You have to share your profits with the workers. So how's that gonna roll?
Well, I understand the sharing it, and they've offered some stuff. But here's the one thing they want. They want a 40+% pay raise.
Yeah.
They want to reduce their hours to 32 hours a week. Not, I'm going to work 4 10s. I am only going to work 8 hours a day, 4 days a week.
For more money.
For more money.
Right.
And the big thing is they want all the pensions restored back to the way it was. That's what got them in trouble in the first place. If you start paying more people to not work than people actually work, you're going to have something that is going to fall apart. And Ford and everybody else, and including former economists who worked under Obama, said if they were to implement all of this, these car companies go bankrupt.
Isn't it interesting how many people in America are striking? So we've got the United Auto Workers walking off the job, contract dispute with the car manufacturers. We've got no new television shows being written because Hollywood is on strike.
But they're coming back. Bill Maher, did you see he announced he's coming back now too?
Yeah, but the writers aren't. So part of Hollywood isn't.
Yeah, and here's the thing about this, and I think
you got the airlines, Chad.
Yeah.
I mean, the airlines there are a bunch of different airlines that are saying, hey, you know what? You're not paying us right. We may strike too.
You've got to figure everything that they're doing. So, like, say the auto workers go on strike here. Well, if your company supplies a lot of stuff and you're out of contracts, your employees are going to have to let go. And it's the little things. One of the reasons a lot of these talk shows are coming back, and I don't think people understand this, is, yeah, you're on strike, writers. That's great. But my gaffer, my electrician, my set designer, their union's not on strike. You know what they're not doing? They're also not getting a paycheck. And that's something to think about. You know, I think they're going to get a great deal, but is it going to be what they want? I want to see how long they can last.
And how quickly can you get a deal?
Yeah.
Because that's what we're talking about, because the money's going right out the window.
Biden sent people there today. You got Bernie there, so that means, and he's wearing this red.
Oh,
I'll tell you what, it's me.
Oh,
you guys don't know. Give them all the money they want.